Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here with an early look at the Curse of Osiris expansion for Destiny 2. Special thanks to Activision for supplying the flights and accommodations during my trip to Seattle, where I got to go to the Bungie studio in order to capture the content for this video. In this video, I'll be showing off Mercury as a public space, showing off the new type of public event. I'll show off the Lost Sector. I'll show off some high value targets, as well as the new type of resource, and I'll talk about all that good stuff. The first thing I want to show off is what I think is the most interesting, which is the new public event called Vex Crossroads. Now, when spawning at the lighthouse on Mercury, this public event should show up pretty much directly in front of you. You can rally at the flag, and then once it starts, it'll separate into two sides, a left and a right side. What you'll need to do is go to a side and slay Vex until you draw out the gatekeepers. With multiple people, you can obviously have both sides going at once. Now, obviously, the next step is to eliminate the gatekeeper. This will close the drives. It'll make him spawn 2 arc charges, or often referred to as orbs, and then you can take those orbs and kind of progress through the next section. So I'm going to be using my Stormcaller because I'm a little bit of a noob, and then I'm going to use my Wardcliff and actually kill myself at the same time as killing off the gatekeeper. So once I kill off the gatekeeper, like I said, he's going to drop 2 arc charges. You can do this with teammates. We were kind of 2-manning this, and then a new group kind of joined us halfway in. So there's a lot of things going on. I'm trying my best to show off all the good stuff here. But once I respawned, I can go and pick up the arc charges and then go slam them into the appropriate holes. All of this is happening and mirrored on the other side of this area. So you'll want to keep in mind that there's other people also doing this on the other side of this area. Now, once you disable all 4 of the warp gates, one of the spheres with the launcher will spin around and begin to point in the other direction, as you'll see on screen. I decided to run around to try to see if there was a way I could trigger this public event to be heroic, but my team decided to go on and continue with the normal objective. I ended up trying to catch up with them, but by the time I got to this island, they had already finished their objective. However, you do have to do this twice. Once on each side, and you're going to have to do it in the order that the game wants you to do it. So once you finish off one side, you can travel back to the other side. Now, here's when I noticed there were some harpies that just kind of flew around in the space in between the 2 islands. And I think I have a little bit of a hunch, I'm not positive, but I think that maybe if you kill all of those harpies, you might trigger the heroic event. We never actually figured out how to do it, but I think they might be related. So here is where I decided that maybe it would be a good idea to shoot them all down. However, I realized that not everyone was on the same page, so I figured that by the time I shot all of these guys down, my team and my squad here would have had everything done. So I kind of just gave up and decided to focus on the main objective here, which is to kill a gatekeeper who will spawn some arc charges. You take those arc charges to the center of each of the islands, and then once you do that, it disables the warp gates and spins that sphere around to launch you back into the center area. I also thought that these orbs might have something to do with triggering the heroic event, which is why I kind of took my time there. But eventually you'll fly back into the center of the main area, and there will be a large gate lord, and you'll have to defeat this gate lord, and once you do that, you will complete the public event. Now, the rewards for completing a public event on Mercury should feel quite familiar to most people. You'll get a whole bunch of Mercury-specific tokens, as well as a chance at an exotic. And one of the people in my squad actually did get an exotic, which is pretty exciting, or an engram rather. And then we moved on to try to find the Lost Sector, which we actually were successful in doing. Now, the actual Lost Sector icon was not available on the map of Mercury like many people might be used to. We actually had to find it the old-fashioned way by scouring the area, looking for the symbol, and then nearby that symbol, we found the secret path leading into the Lost Sector. I'm not sure if this is just because we were at a preview event, so things might have been a little bit different, or if they've decided to take the Lost Sector and just completely hide it from the map. But once you do find it, you can go inside. This should all feel pretty familiar as well. You're going to kill a whole bunch of enemies, work your way through to the very end until you find kind of that final boss in the last sector. And then once you take him out, it'll spawn a chest, or rather it'll open a chest that's already spawned, and then you can open that up to find some rewards. Usually they're going to be pretty decent blues, and you'll get some tokens and stuff, and you'll also get an emblem as well. Now, there are a couple of unique things in the Lost Sectors. Most notably are these kind of red, cubic kind of structures that are available on certain areas. And I'm not really 100% sure as to what they do. You'll see them on the screen in a bit here. They might be related to either like opening a door or actually getting the boss to spawn. They do have markers on them, although I do believe they're optional in terms of actually completing the Lost Sector. You can stand on them, and shooting them will cause them to explode, and that's all we really found out about those. At this point, I'm going to leave you with about 1 minute of in-game audio for you guys to see the end of the Lost Sector. After that, I'm going to talk a little bit about high-value targets, then about resources and chests on Mercury, so stick around. So as we were leaving the Lost Sector, we actually bumped into a high-value target in the area. However, we were completely unprepared. We had absolutely no organization, and there were only 2 of us in the area at the time, which is basically me just trying to make an excuse for the fact that we failed miserably, and the high-value target ended up just kind of disappearing on us pretty much right away. And I also do a terrible job here at using my Stormcaller, and it was just overall a shit show. However, we did get a different high value target to spawn in a little bit later, and we were successful in defeating them. The rewards for doing this are going to feel extremely familiar. Once you kill them, they're going to spawn a chest, and in that chest you'll probably find some tokens for the area. You can take those tokens and then talk to Brother Vance and exchange those into like a reputation level. And as you get reputation levels, you'll unlock items from him. Now, there are a couple of more ways to either unlock Mercury tokens or the resource of the planet, and one of those ways is to look around and find chests. We were able to find 2 or 3 chests during our time on Mercury. Obviously, you'll go up to them once you find them, interact with them, the usual. Last but not least, we have our resource for the planet, which are simulation seeds. They're these kind of colorful orbs of light that you can interact with in order to pick up. Sometimes they'll give you simulation seeds, sometimes they'll give you glimmer. You take those, you interact with Brother Vance, trade them in for reputation, and so on and so forth. Now, in this video, I can also talk about strikes and stuff. However, I don't have any gameplay to go along with that, so I thought it might be best if you guys just kind of experience the strikes for yourselves. I will say that the 2 strikes in this expansion were probably 2 of my favorite strikes when compared to the main game, so it has that going for it. Although I kind of want to let you guys decide for yourself, especially without the ability to show you gameplay. Also, I got to play around in the Infinite Forest, which is really cool. Again, don't have gameplay for it, so I hope you guys understand why I'm not kind of talking too much about those things, as I would like you guys to kind of see as I explain. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was informational, educational, and entertaining. Drop a like, share the video with a friend. Special thanks to the amazing people on Patreon for supporting the show, and hopefully I see you guys next time. Peace.